Hey everybody, Thacia here with Legacy of Light in conjunction with One Love Wellness Center here in Menasha, Wisconsin, coming to you for one of my 365 days from my heart to yours. And we are doing chapter 20 from If the Buddha Dated, a handbook for finding love on the spiritual path. So, chapter 20 is Experience the Spacious Mind. Observe how limiting beliefs about how people meet. Observe your limiting beliefs about how people meet. The most important prerequisite for finding satisfying intimate relationship is wanting one. Wholeheartedly, genuinely, earnestly, single-mindedly, and without reservation. And that's from Susan Page. If I'm so wonderful, why am I still single? I urge people who are bewildered about why they haven't attracted a lover to explore the negative messages they are transmitting. Many people have a litany of reasons why they haven't met anyone yet. I'm afraid of being hurt again. I pick out the wrong people. There are no good people out there. I'm too old. Too young, too fat, too smart, too stupid, too poor, too rich, too opinionated, too passionate, too messed up, too evolved, too boring. Make a list of all your reasons and then remember they are just that, reasons or excuses. And you know what? Basically what it comes down to is that if you think you can't, you won't. All of these things, I'm too poor, well then you're going to be too poor. I'm too rich, then you're going to be too rich. You're just giving yourselves, these reasons or excuses. But if you think you will, then you can have that. You can actually will it into existence. If you think you can, I can have this relationship, then it's basically you are willing that into existence. So make a list of your reasons. Remember they're just that, reasons or excuses. Listen to your ego protest, and then imagine what kind of spaciousness would emerge if your internal Greek chorus would take an intermission, or if you would stop taking all those thoughts so seriously. To get a feeling for messages you are transmitting, you might write a mock personals ad based on the negative things you are saying about yourself. So it may go something like this. Overweight male, boring, opinionated, tends to get dependent on women, seeks beautiful, talented, loving female to shore up with my ego and fill up my emptiness. Woman, 52, freaked out about being over 50, worried about my figure, probably more intelligent than most people, but although I've had a string of painful relationships, need unreliable man to criticize me and leave me after a short time. And the cool thing about this is that sometimes when we make it so, on the extreme of it, and we just really get into that character of us, we see how ridiculous it is, that I'm too young, or I'm too old, or I'm too fat, and you go on to all these reasons, and then throw in the past relationships. I need an unreliable man to criticize me and leave me after a short time. You see how ridiculous these things really are. So these mock ads may sound ridiculous, but whatever we say to ourselves, we are transmitting to others as surely as if we walked around wearing a sandwich board saying, "Hi, I'm a mess, come love me." We need to remember desperation is different from delighting in the idea of having someone to walk beside us. When we are extremely needy or want someone to fill our empty life, we will tend to push people away. Even then, needy people do find partners, although it's usually someone equally insecure and troubled. People find lovers when they're afraid, when they're open, when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're sick, when they're well, when they're looking, when they're enjoying the single life. To some degree, it's inexplicable why we meet someone at a given time. In the meantime, however, we can make a concerted effort to find the partner, but not be attached to the outcome of the partner, of the exact, person or thing that we've written down the list to, and this is the only person we're going to accept. That is not what not being attached. We don't want to be attached with that. So you're seeking to find a partner, you're seeking to find a fulfilling, loving relationship, but you are letting it fall into place how it will, without having these expectations and attachments to these certain outcomes. So the more you meet a variety of people, take part in activities, and put yourself where other single people are, the more likely you are to meet someone. Makes sense? It's the law of averages. When we buy shoes, look for a job, ponder a career change, invest money, or buy a home, we are taught to be systematic and put effort into making a good decision. The same is true for meeting a partner, particularly for those over 30 who don't automatically meet single people as often as most of us did in our early 20s. You can let friends know you are looking for someone, depending, and you can use ads and dating services or join internet groups or interest groups. Most local papers list community activities, volunteer work, and various types of support groups. And one place that I found is super cool it's called Meetup. So it's not necessarily like let's meet up, let's hook up. Meetup have so many different groups so that you can get into these meetup groups and they're just people with the same interests. You're not necessarily like everybody's going to the meetup group to, hook up, or we're going for dating, but you can use that as a tool. Like it's another place to find someone with similar interests, whatever it is, music, metaphysical, like gardening, whatever it is, like camping, hiking, whatever. There's all sorts of different ones out there that you can just go on Meetup and check it out. And they're all over the US. It's not just like one certain area. So you can find people with certain the same interests in the same activities, and start with that, because shit's hard sometimes when you get older, and finding people who you don't meet in a bar drunk, and B, not that you can't meet somebody at work, but I mean, like, depending on where you work, maybe you don't want to meet someone at your work. It's just like, it gets difficult. So find other places that you can go and do things and meet people. So I know people who've met at craft fairs, on camping trips, in the Parents Without Partners meeting, at work, through elder hostels, singles tennis groups, lesbians mothers groups, vocational courses, classes, coffee houses, karaoke bars, sailing clubs, or religious organizations, just to name a few. The point is, if you have to be out in the world to meet people, occasionally there are exceptions. One friend of mine met her future husband when he came to hang wallpaper in her house. But we can't count on that. Like, everybody can't count on them random meetings. Likewise, we can be open and alert to possible partners without being constantly preoccupied or scanning every event for the one. And I'm going to tell you, I did that for a short bit. And not only did I, I missed a lot of cool moments of just being at these places in these events because of that reason. Like, ooh, could that person be? Ooh, could that person be? And, like, how are you going to start a relationship? You're not even, first of all, being authentic, and you're not letting things just flow authentically, and it will happen if you allow it to. If you are willing to let go of these attachments, if you're willing to not do that every time you go somewhere, like, oh, could he be here? Oh, could she be there? Oh, like, just be you. It's a subtle dance of letting go and being open. It's a process, a form of faith, where we play a part, but we're not totally in charge. Sometimes we don't find someone because it just doesn't happen. Other times it might reflect unconscious ambivalence. Think of your self-defeating thoughts as a fence around you, marking where your compassion ends and your harsh judgment begins. To free yourself, imagine stepping beyond the fence into the vast field that goes on as far as you can see. Allow a breeze to thin out your thoughts and blow them away. And notice that you are a part of the vast energy that connects us all. And we are all part of that energy. And a lot of this has to do with just being ourselves and letting go of these attachments that we have placed on everything. I've even gone as far as just like, every once in a while, like I was getting my stuff packed to go to, on this trip that I'm going on. And so I was going through my closet and I was just like, oh, I haven't worn this. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, like kind of in my family, we kind of like trade clothes every once in a while. People are, maybe gain some weight or lose some weight, whatever. I know the sizes of my fam. So then I was like, oh, I can give this to my mom. Oh, my mom would like this. Oh, I'm going to take this. And you just like going through stuff because I'm letting go of the attachment to like, well, I might wear this someday, but I haven't worn it for like 6 months. Or I wore a time or two and I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but I know somebody else who would like it more, So just doing simple things like that can get you into the mindset to then, do that within a relationship because you're not holding fast to this one idea of this person has to be this. And you bring it back to that broad spectrum of I desire a healthy, loving relationship. And I want that. And at the beginning of the chapter it said that, like the basic thing and the most important prerequisite is that you want one and that you desire one. And when we have that intention, the universe is going to help us. Yeah, we may have to do some work on ourselves first. But that's the intention, and the universe says, yes, come on, come with me. I got something to show you. But if we're, holding fast to this one idea, we might miss that person. Or, like if we're being the person that is like scanning everybody all the time, like it gets old. First of all, to like just be constantly on alert. And then, you know, like I said, you just like, you miss out on things. Like just, you know, you could have missed out on a friendship with somebody. You could have missed just out on a beautiful conversation because you were all like, oh, I wonder if that person is it. I wonder if they're it. Oh, that person is it. What, you know, I could, you know, whatever. It's just, ah, just be you and have that desire in your heart. And then, you know, look at yourself to see what are the things that are blocking me. Like, you know, make that ad that shows all the feelings that you are, you know, subconsciously sending out. And maybe that's the reason, you know, because you think you're not good enough. You think you don't deserve it. You think that, you know, your feet are too big and your arms are too long and whatever. Whatever the reasons are, write those down. And once you know, you look at it and you say, you know what, that's ridiculous. Because each one of us is perfectly beautiful and wonderful, just as we are. And we are definitely meant to have relationships, and relationships are here to help us grow and to help us grow into the best versions of ourselves. So there is someone out there, you know, and maybe it's taken a little bit more time because you've been growing. You've been becoming more aware. You've gone through these other relationships and not been aware. Well, now you're aware, and now you can, you know, find that lasting relationship because you are aware, and you are aware that you are the creator, and you are aware that you can create that change and find that person. And maybe that other person wasn't ready yet, because you got to remember, we all have free will. We have the choice to do what we want. So maybe that person was, you know, the universe is like, here's this person, but he's like going here and you're like going here, and then you guys just had to wait till you like went around the roundabout. And then you're like, oh, hey, there you are, like, where have you been? So it's just, sometimes it's just patience and loving ourselves and awareness, and then we can create what we want with the desires of our heart. And as always, just remember that you are, no matter what you've been through, where you're going, at every moment of your entire existence, you have been and will be eternally adored and loved, just because you are. Just because you are. The entire existence. I know, right? It's pretty awesome. Okay. Love you.